Hello to all who may be joining. Welcome once again to some Spoony Tuneage. So yeah, for this one today, I'm getting started on something a little bit different to what I was getting started on last time. So yeah, the commission still needs to get done, but I've just had like a dearth of ideas. Wait, is a dearth like a lot or not enough? I honestly don't know. But either way, yeah, I'm a little bit sparse on ideas for that right now, so I'm just going to work on a little something else that I've had cooking for the last few months here. I'm sorry that the interface is so cluttered right now, but actually this is not the main thing I'm going to be working in. It's actually this right here. I'm going to zoom the text in here so that it shows up better on stream. But basically, I've been working on making CPS1 style covers of the soundtrack of Sweet Home for the Famicom, since I've talked at length about how much I really enjoy that game. Am I not live, actually? I should be. I don't know why I wouldn't be at this point. Kurzel, hello. Thank you very much for showing up today. But yeah, you're just about to see how I work in a format of music making that literally nobody uses anymore. This is one of the completed audio. Okay, cool. I'm glad to know. And yeah, it's even slower with like the Stream Elements chat overlay that I've got in the actual video. Sorry about that. But yeah. I was just a little bit concerned because OBS still said go live on the interface. So I was under the impression for a second that I hadn't even started streaming in the first place, even though I know I clicked go live on YouTube at least, but you know, whatever. But yeah, anyways, I guess consider this a little bit of a preview for like what I've been working on. As I just said, I've been working on CPS1 style covers of Sweet Home for the Famicom, using the instrument library from Strider Hiryu. I literally like opened up the file in a hex editor and reverse engineered how all the patches work. And that's how I'm able to like import them with like the most accuracy I can possibly have for them within MML to VGM here. It's not like fully implemented yet, but like if you see all this stuff, like I'll explain what all this stuff means in a little bit. But yeah, in any case, I feel like it's also probably important for me to show my work here. So this right here, this is all of the raw instrument patch data from the arcade game Strider Hiryu. And like, I don't have anything labeled down here, but I think I might have it labeled up. No, I don't. Okay. But yeah, I've got like all of the I've got like all of the pre-Final Fight games loaded up in here, and at some point I'll get these ripped, or maybe hopefully one of these days I'll learn how to write a program to actually like get this properly converted into either OPM format or Furnace format or whatever. Yeah, it is really raw. It is really raw. But yeah, basically, yeah, through like a lot of trial and error, I basically figured out what each of these parameters means. Because one kind of interesting thing about Capcom Play System game, or actually really a lot of Capcom arcade games from Black Tiger / Black Dragon onwards, is that they don't just have like the normal parameters. So like here, if I open up the instrument editor window in Furnace Tracker here, so like you can see that there's like a number of parameters right here. There's attack rate, decay rate 2, which basically means like how fast does it decay after it reaches the sustain level here, and then release rate. Total level is basically the volume. If you increase it, that makes the sound more, it makes the sound brighter or more intense. Rate scale here basically means like as you get higher, or as the note pitch gets higher, like it decays, or like all of this stuff like is like faster. So if I don't know, let's just for the sake of argument, let's say that this envelope is like this to begin with. They're here. It's kind of like a flute type sound, but if I turn the rate scaling up, it turns into just a pop. It basically speeds up how fast all of these envelopes affect the sound. So yeah. Oh, I need to turn that down. And then multiplication is basically like what frequency the operator is at. So like the bass pitch is just 1. 0 is basically half of the frequency, so an octave down. 2 is double, so an octave up. And then, yeah, you multiply that frequency by, like, this level, basically, and you get, like, different harmonics for the fundamental. And so on and so forth, up to 15. DT just, like, detunes the operator by a little bit so you can get some nice chorusing effects. DT2 is this very strange sort of like non-harmonic detune value, which will like which will usually set the frequency of the operator to a value that like you can't normally get with these, so you can get some really like weird enharmonic results with this. There's a good example of this in the steel drum right here, for example. Where like that kind of like, here actually maybe it's more audible at a higher note. But yeah, that little low frequency in there is basically added by like setting one of these operators to setting the DT2 value to like anything other than 0. If I set that back to 0, instead it's like a more like harmonic frequency. It like matches up with the original note better, but this one is like, that one's like, it's like a little bit crunchy in a way, and you can use that for some good like I don't know, you can use that to get some like slightly more realistic effects, like if you want to emulate the sound of the sound of like a keyboard key being pressed, in addition to like the sound that the actual like string makes. Or, you know, you can use it for percussive stuff or like sound effects especially. Like I think honestly that's what it's used most for. But yeah, like most of that stuff is accounted for here. However, this is a little bit more in depth, and it took me a very long time to figure out how this works. But basically there are 3 values instead of just 1 for setting each operator's like actual volume level. So first of all, like every operator gets sent to, or first of all, well, every operator gets set to a default level. It seems to vary by game. I checked Forgotten Worlds as well, and it seems to default carriers or the actual operators that you hear the sound come out of. In this case, it would be 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time. It will default all of those to 16. And then for Strider specifically, which is what I'm actually focusing on here, it sets... Oh, no. It sets carriers to 24, modulators, which in this case would be just operator 1, to 16, basically. So the... So yeah, it goes to that default value first, and then you have like groups of 3 values here to control how loud the operators actually are. So this first one right here that I'll use it as an example corresponds to this first strings patch right here. Oh, hold on, I need to. So yeah, basically, what you have first is from the starting value, you subtract this number. And remember, this is all in hexadecimal, so this 17 is actually 23. Then you apply a velocity scalar, which I've just written here for shorthand, basically. Where based on what this number is right here, this first digit, it will increase the TL level by the corresponding amount here. And then the second digit will decrease it by whatever number is written there. So in this case, let's see here. I'm just going to put this over to the side so you can see both at the same time. But first, so yeah, set these to 16. And also, because of the way that, the sound chip's data registers work, for whatever reason, it goes in the order of operators 1, 3, 2, and 4 for some reason, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't really know why. I'm assuming it's, for some, programming efficiency thing. But basically, yeah, upon setting these to their default levels, here's what you do. You subtract this number. In this case of the first operator, it's minus 23. So it would be 39 that we set that to. And then operator 3 down here, you subtract 21, that gets you 37. And then these don't have a value at all, so they don't subtract at all. They're just, oh, sorry, I lost my place. But yeah, then basically after that, you apply the velocity scalars here, and for the carriers, they're set to 70, so they go up by 12. And then both of the modulators are set to 5, so they go up by 8. So that goes up to 29. That goes up to 31. Gray code maybe at 1324. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that, but anyways, so yeah, that gets you the base level essentially. But the thing is about Capcom arcade games is they actually have TL scaling based on the pitch. So kind of like how I showed earlier with the key scale thing, where it speeds up the rate of the volume envelopes. Well, Capcom's arcade games had it programmed into their drivers where the higher you go on the you can set a parameter basically so that the higher you go up on the keyboard, the lower the TL value gets. And the main reason that exists is to replicate how a lot of sounds will get a lot less harmonically rich. Oh, it's an encoding scheme used to reduce errors in bit sequences. No idea why it would be used here, though. I mean, I think it's, well, like I said, it's because the registers of the sound chip in the arcade games go in that order. That's just how it was built. And, I don't know, and, I'm assuming they put it in this order specifically because it would be easier to get them into the proper registers that way. Whereas, if you were to program in the ROM if you were to put these patches in the ROM in a more readable order, then you'd have to have some part of your code to tell it to swap the second and third operators so that they line up properly. Otherwise, you'd get the completely wrong sound. Actually, I can demonstrate this. So if you swap operators 2 and 3 right here, that's not right. That's better. But yeah, basically, yeah, the higher you go on the keyboard, the lower these values will get. And this is something that I really, I think I would need to have, the code for the driver to actually understand exactly how this works. I don't know whether it's, done using an equation or if it's just a lookup table. But basically, but yeah, and it affects some sounds more than others. In fact, just for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and open up Strider Hiryu for you. So there's a few songs which make for really good examples here. In particular, the crystal instrument that you hear a lot in the intro to Stage 2 will have it's very much affected by this pitch-based scaling. I believe that okay. Yeah, and that corresponds to this patch right here, by the way. So yeah, like this middle value here is set to F, which is like the maximum that it can be at. I've tried also setting I've also like edited the hex files basically to figure out what these do exactly. And near as I can tell, setting it higher than F just like repeats like whatever the value was when it didn't have this bit set. However, if you set this digit here to 8, that will actually invert it. So now the TL values will be higher at the high end of the keyboard and low at the low ends. And this isn't really used terribly often. There is a patch like down here that seems to be using it. Looks like that's 5311. I think that's that's like the xylophone patch. I remember that's used in like the African stage levels, like right down here. But yeah, basically for demonstration, like here's how the crystal sounds that I was referring to earlier. And yeah, it sounds nice like that, but if I were to like remove the pitch scaling effects, like the really high notes would be like much more intense sounding, and they wouldn't really sound as smooth as they do in the final game. As far as I can tell, this is also something that's used a lot in like professional FM synthesizers from the 80s, like the DX7 and the TX81Z. I think that was what it was. They also have pitch scaling like that, and I guess Capcom was like one of the few companies that like put that in their own sound driver, whereas I feel like most other video game developers of the time didn't really bother doing that because I'm assuming it was like, you know, most arcade games can barely be heard over the sound of literally every other machine in the building. So they may have not put a whole bunch of stock in quality of sound like this. Or, you know, it could have also just like, you know, slowed down development time as well to implement this sort of thing. That said, Capcom weren't the only developers to use this. Actually, it might be even easier to demonstrate this with... let's see, Atari. Yeah, some of Atari's early arcade games also did this to a certain extent. I think there's a few instances in which you can kind of hear it in Marble Madness's music. Here, if I isolate this one. I mean, I think it's a little bit more subtle there, but like it's the same basic idea where like they're rolling off some of the harsher frequencies as they get higher up so that they don't like blast you with some like so they don't blast you with some really heinous sounding frequencies basically. But yeah, and you know, honestly, for the first arcade game to have stereo FM sound like that, I am honestly kind of impressed with like the level of care that Atari put into that, considering, you know, especially because like I think FM synthesis at that point was a fairly new thing in general. Like I think if I remember correctly, it was only discovered in like the early 70s in like academic institutions, and then only really became popularized when the DX7 came out in like 83 maybe. But yeah, basically that's the gist of it. Now the thing is, in modern times, usually when people are thinking about FM synthesis, they're thinking of games that did not use that frequency scaling system, or like the volume scaling, basically. Because like most Genesis games or like arcade games as well from Konami, they basically only use one value for like the entirety of the keyboard. And, you know, as long as they use it in a good range, or like, you know, just make a patch that sounds good at any range, like there's no need to really worry about it. And like that's generally been considered the more popular approach. Whereas like this is a lot more specific. It's hard to get like, I mean, it's just plain hard to get some of these patches to sound good at multiple ranges and like get that level of realism that they were trying to go for. Like the piano especially, I think, is a very good example of this, because it sounds semi-realistic at like lower pitches like this. But then you go up way high, it sounds like metallic and unnatural, so you gotta roll off the high frequencies. Just as an example here, I think it was 32 for this one. It sounds a little bit more natural when you roll that off. It's just, it was a lot harder to do it when you don't have the extra resources to dedicate to like making it sound right. But yeah, basically, so unfortunately, because of that, like there's a lot of chiptune programs which just straight up don't have the ability to do that by default. And so if you want to recreate that, you literally need to hard code in those TL changes yourself, which I did here because I'm a maniac. So yeah, like it's not necessary for all of these, thankfully. Like having this patch list here obviously is very helpful, because any of these patches where there's just a 0 in this middle value right here, I don't have to worry about doing that. But there's a lot of them where it does affect the sound quite noticeably, so I kind of have to use it if I want to get the authenticity. So like the slap bass right here, the crystal, as I mentioned earlier, this one right here, the piano as well that I just mentioned, that one's right here, and that one's set to the max affection value for like all 3 of the modulating operators. So yeah, that can't really be ignored if you want it to sound good. But I've been doing some work on it, and I think I'm doing pretty good for myself. But then, like, you know, what is this for? Like, I did it in Furnace Tracker. Like, why am I suddenly transferring it to MML to VGM? Now, the thing about that is it's related to the low frequency oscillator, which is used for certain effects. I'm going to go back to Strider to demonstrate this really quick. But there are some instrument patches in the game that make very specific use of the hardware low-frequency oscillator built into the OPM sound chip, and it doesn't sound right if you don't use it. So, let's see. Cloud C right here uses it to get like a wind effect on these 2 channels here. I'm actually using that a few times myself for this, just because. But yeah, like the reason that it sounds like that is specifically because of the low frequency oscillator. If you were to here, I've got the patch loaded up in here, and indeed it sounds like exactly the same if you play it up high here. Or well, not exactly the same. I think it's possible maybe either Hoot or Furnace isn't emulating it like exactly correctly, but it's close. But if you remove that, then, or here, if I just like turn the modulation depth all the way down, that's what it sounds like by itself without the noise added into it. So that adds like a lot more character to it. And again, like the reason that I'm doing it in MML to VGM specifically is because Capcom's sound driver has these LFO parameters built into the patches as well. So whenever they are triggered within the song data, like the low frequency oscillator immediately switches to those settings. And it's based on like the order of the channels that they come in. So you'll notice that in this case, the wind is on channels 5 and 6, which are the last ones. So basically, like when they're triggered, they set the song to that LFO value. But if another instrument comes in after the fact, it resets it to a different one, which you can kind of hear because there's parts where like they both lose their noisiness. Like there, right there. And I think that's because like one of the patches got changed. I think this one right here. Yep. Immediately at the point that it loses that windy texture, there's a string instrument that starts playing. And then like, you know, they just like re-trigger the I'm assuming that basically in the sound data, they set it up so that like anytime these wind notes play, it re-triggers the LFO, basically. Now, the problem is Furnace does not emulate this behavior properly, and that's kind of an issue for some songs in particular where I really wanted to lean into the wind. Like the final area theme right here. I'm just going to mute the wind channels, or solo the wind channels, rather, so you can hear how they sound just by themselves. It's all wrong. It doesn't sound correct in the slightest. And it's because of this channel right here. It's like constantly playing, and it has its own LFO values that are constantly resetting it back when it's not supposed to do that. Like, what usually happens, as like you're gonna see here, is that like I'm basically using like these as the instrument definitions right here, and I've got the instruments saved in a different file, but I'm just like importing it with one of the commands here. But then like immediately after that, I've also got the LFO parameters right here to set them properly. And there's only one hardware LFO, so you can't have multiple values running at the same time. At least on this sound chip anyway. There are other Yamaha FM sound chips that have multiple LFOs in them, but like this is not one of them. There's only one to work with. But yeah, basically the way it's supposed to work is that the last one in the sequence, or the last channel, is supposed to be the one that gets the priority when it comes to like multiple different LFO values being set at the same time. And that's not emulated properly in Furnace, but it is emulated properly in MML2VGM, which I can demonstrate by finally actually playing this this opening theme that I finished a while ago. It looks way more complicated than it is because of all the TL scaling values I had to like manually enter in. If I were working in Capcom's sound driver, I'm sure this would be much easier, but I don't think anybody's reverse engineered a way to like inject that into the ROM data or anything. Maybe one of these days if we're lucky, but for right now, this is what I got. So yeah, that's the gist of it. And then all of these TL scaling values, that's what this like mess of a file is for. I couldn't really be bothered to do like all of the like reverse engineering necessary to get this 100% accurate. I tried doing that on this row here by basically like looking at what all the values were for a specific instrument within the game. The problem is I would need to like, I'd need to get like a chromatic value at every single note on the keyboard, and the problem is it's also not fully symmetrical. I guess like kind of the only pattern that I really can recognize within like the TL scaling specifically is that what I think it's saying is that the TL goes down by this amount when you go up 3 octaves on the keyboard. Not like it stays at the same value until you go up to the 3rd octave. I mean that like this is like it goes up gradually, and this is the value that it will be at when you get to that 3rd octave, and then, you know, so on and so forth up until like the top register of the keyboard. And yeah, based on the way that the actual like pitch operators are done, or the way that they're displayed in Hoot Player over here, I don't think it's the case that there's any math being done on them. It might actually be a lookup table, I'm willing to bet. But either way, yeah, it's like, yeah, like the way that it is like in the game proper, it's not fully symmetrical, and there's like a lot of uneven space in here. Whereas like I kind of just like, I took that going up by 3 octaves thing as like a baseline, and then it's kind of like mathed out all of these other ones here. So like, you know, if I can, and like if the instrument patch uses that maximum pitch scaling value, I will probably just stick to this one right here because it's the one that I put the most freaking work into. But yeah, like for most of the other ones, I'll just stick to like any of these because they're going to be close enough. And I verified it with like the string patch as well, which uses these 2 rows right here. They're close enough that I don't think most people will notice a minute difference in like one of the notes being like slightly wrong. Like at a certain point, my psychosis has to stop somewhere. But either way, now that I've actually explained what it is I'm doing and why I'm putting all this unfathomable amount of work into this, I think I'm going to actually start working on one of these now. This one I haven't zoomed in on. I'm going to fix that really quick. But yeah, basically, yeah, literally every instrument patch and LFO setting in Strider is right here. And then the, actually, I'll open up the instrument folder as well just so you can see it. But yeah, this is all the patch data loaded in here. I don't have the option to save the LFO data this way. And there's like a whole bunch of instruments which I don't even plan on using. So just putting it here ahead of time and then importing it into the file via this command right here also makes the file sizes themselves much smaller. I also tried putting these as well into that instrument definition folder, but for some reason it doesn't work. MML2VGM just throws up an error. I don't really know why. But either way, I guess I should probably get started on one of these then. I've already done a few of them, a lot of the simpler ones mostly, but maybe I'll, I guess question now is, which one do I do next? I kind of want to do like an area theme. There's some that I've like started on but not finished. Maybe I can finish up Central Lobby to start here. Maybe later I'll also do like the Eastern Garden theme. Like that's, like I guess that, the caverns, and Mamiya's quarters are the only ones that I haven't really done yet. But yeah, this one should be relatively easy. I've got basically everything except for the lead part written out. So let's see. So this is going to be on channels 3 and 4, which I haven't written anything for yet. And also I don't know exactly how the I don't know exactly how Capcom's arcade sound driver works. Whether it's closer to like consoles or PCs or whatever. But like just to be on the safe side, I'm using a I'm basically just like setting the tempo to one default value and then just having different like tick rates for each of the notes instead of having a tempo set and then using quarter, eighth, and 16th notes and such. I feel like this is probably a little bit closer to how it is, but again, I think somebody much smarter than me needs to do the reverse engineering on that one. Hopefully that gets done soon, because I have a lot of questions about it. And I would love to honestly, like, I really hope that it, like, leads to some cool advancements in chiptune later. But either way, you know, we'll see what happens. But for right now, here, I know what I want to do for this one, because I have it written out in Furnace already. I forgot the second one is the one that actually has this stuff. But yeah. Oh, whoops. So yeah, I want to have these strings fade in right here. Okay, so that's 8 times 8, that's 64. So then here, I'll set that to like minus 24 maybe. And then, yeah, from this point, I'm going to have to split them up a little bit, because they're going to be playing different notes. Excuse me. I mean, you can kind of see on like the first 2 channels, I have them basically playing the same thing for the whole song, because like one of them is just an echo of the other. That's basically what this means, is just that I'm defining like what more than one channel plays at once. Here, actually, I'll just probably... And if I solo those 2 channels. So yeah, channel 2 is just an echo of channel 1, and they're using the same notes, so you can save file size by just defining the same notes for both of them, but just putting a little offset at the beginning of channel 2 and also reducing its volume. But yeah. I think I might need to increase the octave for channel 4, but we'll see. Here, let me double check. So assuming that it would be... See, I'm kind of doing more here than I did in the like Furnace file here, but let's see how long exactly this would be. So this, oh wait, no, it's 64 times 3 basically. There's a lot of maths involved in MML, so just be prepared for that, okay? 192, okay. And then 8 times 6, I should probably decrement that by a little bit, is 48. 192 minus 48 is 144. And then I still want to have those, like, I still want to have like a volume decrease at the end, like I'm doing here in the tracker, so let's see. It would be 12 ticks per note, or 12 ticks per volume decrement, it looks like. Actually, no, I'll probably just like make it the same as this one. So it would be just, yeah, minus 48 again. 96, okay. So I kind of have to just like hope and pray that this works properly, because it doesn't always. Like MML syntax is really weird, and like I'm kind of using a bit of a hacky method to get the volume decrements to work here properly, because the alternative is writing out like, you know, B flat and volume decrement, B flat and volume decrement like over and over again. That just like still. Oh, hey, Aman! Holy cow, I'm so happy you're here! Still need to learn how to do volume decreases on MML. I'm always having the envelope macro do it. Yeah, I mean, I think that might actually be... I I mean, honestly, I think that, like, depending on how complex the thing you're working with is, I think that might be the smarter way to go about it. I'm just doing it this way because, like, Capcom's arcade games usually just decrement in, like, or they have volume changes in decrements of, like, 4 or, like, multiples of 4, basically. So I'm trying to keep to that because I want to keep the style, you know? And then, yeah, I don't have to change much here. I just got to change this to a G, which is the same as F sharp, and that should get us the chord that I'm looking for. Oh, wait, I've still soloed these. Yeah, that's about it. That's about what I wanted. Okay, then... So yeah, it's going to be 64 times 4. Okay, 256 for one of these, for basically the length of these whole patterns right here. Yeah, even on the early Q sound stuff. Oh, really? Dang, I didn't even look into that because, like honestly, I really should probably try making Q sound stuff at some point. That sounds really fun. I mean, I guess I'm kind of sort of doing that a little bit. I am putting together, like, my own sample libraries because, you know, that's part of the reason I've got such, like, a big synth rack collection over here is, like, I want to get a big-ass collection of retro samples that I can use to make chiptunes and stuff. But yeah, I need to actually put that towards some Q sound stuff. That sounds really fun. But yeah, anyways, sorry, I was getting distracted. So that's 256, and then, like, 256 minus 12 is what I need for the next one. 244, might as well just add that to 256, and then I get even 500. Wow, how about that? Although, for this channel, it doesn't start, like, right away. It'd be this channel that has the so yeah, this channel has, like, the lower note, and this channel has the higher note, and the higher note starts a little bit later, so I want to have that be 512. And then I will set that to, I think it was oct string, maybe? Maybe it was octpad, I can't remember. Oh, it was oct string, okay. Did I ever actually use octpad in here anywhere? Doesn't... Oh, okay, I used that later on. I see. Okay. So yeah, octastir it is. Okay, gotta get the... Yeah, I guess... Sorry I'm also not, like, playing a reference of the actual song that I'm, like, covering right here. In case you haven't heard it. Well, actually, I mean, honestly, just, like, go out and, like, listen to Sweet Home's soundtrack if you're already familiar with the game. I would probably recommend that you don't do that if you haven't played it yet, because there might be some spoilers baked in, just so you're aware. But yeah, it's very good stuff. Definitely one of the honestly one of the most underrated Famicom. Fuck, I've got Falcom brain rot. One of the most underrated Falcom... I did it again. I did it again. One of the most underrated Famicom soundtracks you're likely to find. Okay. Wait, what? That's going too far ahead. What the hell? Okay, so we got 256 times 1.5, it looks like. 384. I'm glad you found that funny, Kurzel. All right, oh wait, I just copy this one. It's that easy. So yeah, the speed at this point is about oh wait, no, hold on. I just realized okay, yeah, the tempo changes at this point, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I have a speed change here. I forgot about that. Okay, so this is actually 9 as a matter of fact. I set this a little bit too early, so now I have to change that. And that would also mean that this value is wrong as well, so... Okay, so, yeah, crap, I gotta do some recalculations. So it would be, okay. It's 12, 24, 48. Okay, 48 times 4 is one of these whole pattern lengths here. That's 192. Okay, cool. So then... yeah, 192 times 1.5 is 288. There we go. Honestly, like, if I knew whether or not, like... if I knew whether or not Capcom, like, just, like, changed the base tempo instead of, like, doing these, like, subdivisions of 60 hertz specifically like this, I'd probably be having a much easier time trying to get all this put together. Okay. So then I want to kind of divide this segment up into like 6. So it would be... so 384 minus 288, I'm pretty sure. And then that divided by 6 is 16. Okay. I'll set this ahead of time here. Okay, and then 96 minus 9 is 87. 87. So 16 times 5, I think, is 80. Okay, so that means the last one's got to be 7 ticks long. And yeah, I guess one problem with using these, like, looping, like, volume decrements like this is that, like, you have to have, like, you need to have something at the end to break out of the loop with instead of, like, being able to put a break in the middle of it like that, because I think putting this anywhere within the loop would break the entire thing and cause it to not compile. At least that's been my experience. I'm sure there's a way that you can do it that makes it work, but I haven't figured it out. And then, yeah, I'll just copy this basically wholesale. Actually, maybe I should set that to D-, because that's more music theory-ish. Yep. Compile errors happen all the time in MML. I guess kind of like real programming, really. So it should be sounding all right now. I don't have the high note in right now, but let's just hear how it sounds. Okay, I made another mistake. These are too long now. And I also need to go up an octave here. Maybe also up an octave for the octave strings as well. So 384 minus 9 is 375. And then here, actually, I don't need to go back to the beginning every single time. I can just skip play. There we go. That's sounding nice. That's sounding nice. I think I might actually shorten this just a little bit, though. And then, yeah, I gotta do more of the, looping for this part. It's gonna have basically the same volume fade in and out on either end, so it should be a little bit simpler, maybe? I don't know. Oh wait, actually, oh, this already has like a whole thing set up here, so that's good. So it'd be... Okay, so actually it'd be like 192 for this, I think. So let's see here. Oh, actually, before I do that, maybe I'll just get the other one set up, because why not? It's easy. It's easy. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, nope, I didn't set the link there. Silly me. There we go, that's better. Or it should be. We'll see. There we go, that's good. Okay, now for the only other part of this track that's going to require manual TL entering values. And boy, ain't that gonna be fun. Alright, so first thing I'm gonna do actually is get like an offset for channel 4 here, because that's gonna be the echo channel. It's basically where is it? Oh, am I too far ahead? I think I might be too far ahead. Okay, no, I wasn't. It was this one. So yeah, it's the crystal instrument, so I've got to have those TL scaling values in here, but at least it's just loops, so I don't have to worry about it, like, too terribly much. So yeah, set the instrument definition. Then maybe I'll, like, decrease this by, like, another 8 values. This is the volume command, by the way, in case anybody doesn't know. Or is curious why I was just randomly putting a parenthesis 8 there. oh wait, actually I need to put an actual amount there, so it's going to be 9. Okay, and then yeah, and this is what, excuse me, this is what these aliases up here are for. These are basically the shortest way that I can set multiple TL values at once if I need to. Thankfully, they're both getting set to the same number here, but, you know, I don't always get that lucky with some of these patches. So 38 is 48 plus 8, and that's 56. $56, $54, $53, $52. Okay. Just for the sake of like being able to hear it, I'm gonna set these to the same like max volume. I'll worry about like doing the crescendo in a little bit here. Oh wait, whoops, I forgot to set that to a tick rate, not an actual division of a whole note. It's not high enough. All right, seems good to me. And oh, actually the echo is a little bit louder than that. Yeah, that's a little bit closer to how I had it. It's probably a little bit more accurate to how Capcom would do it too, I'm sure. If it's a largely atmospheric kind of thing, I'm sure the echo can afford to be a little bit loud. But yeah, now that that's done, I just need to actually get the, okay, yeah, I need to get the, I need to get this removed first, and then I set up the volume increases. How did I have these set up? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. And then I just skip the last decrementation because I'm going to be setting a, I'm going to be setting a volume after that anyway. So I think this should do it right here. Not quite what I'm looking to get out of this. I forget which one was which. It was... Okay, so it would be 111 for both of them to start with, and then like, and then channel 4 gets lowered even further, and then we should be good. Actually, maybe it shouldn't be like, maybe it shouldn't be max volume. I'm gonna set it down to 107 for both of them. That should be good. Oh wait, isn't that already where I had it? I need to double check. Okay. So here, I can actually like check what the volume of the channel is by looking at this up here. Oh, okay. So actually I can just like increment this by 4 and then I don't even have to worry about setting the volume for that one. At least I think so. Yeah, that's good. Although, actually, I need to reset the time offset for channel 4 now, so I gotta do, like... So yeah, there's, like, one here to break out of the loop first. Wait, no, there we go. That's better. Then I set both of them to the same instrument, which was octpad. In my furnace cover anyway. I could probably change the patch. I can probably change the patch to something else if I really need to, but I think that this should be good for right now. I'm actually kind of thinking there's maybe another synth that would be better for this, but I'll try it later, see how it sounds. That's 12 times 6. It's 96. I know that. I've memorized my multiplication tables. So yeah, it's going to be that minus 9, so it's 87. Okay, gotta... yeah. Remove one more of those from there. Should be good, I think. Let's check. Whoa, what the heck? Why did it suddenly just change? That is weird. But also, apparently these are way too long. Oh, wait, I know why. It's because I... Okay. 48 times 1.5 is 72. Okay. So it's actually 72 minus 9 that I need here. And then just 60 for this one. Oh, wait, I know why. It's because of this. Okay. So yeah, I accidentally turned this into an instrument change command, and that's why that happened. I just hit the wrong key. That was my bad. Hmm. See, it's going to be 384 minus 32. And then minus another 96. So it's going to be 256 for this portion here. Excuse me. Or actually, maybe I should do it more like this, now that I think about it. Add another 48 here. We should be at 304, it looks like. One, two, three, and then one half step up, and then that ends the loop. Okay, so yeah, this line goes all the way to the end of the song now. Oh, wait, that needs to go down to 8, actually. All right, all right. Oh yeah, I should probably set the octave for this one, actually. I think 5 might be the root octave, but let me check. Nope, that's too high. It is number 4, as it turns out. Okay, and then I can more or less just copy paste this, I think. .304 plus 32 is 336. Yeah, that one's got to stay at full volume. And I did it that way because that's kind of how it is in the original Famicom version as well, where the lower note just kind of stays at the same volume and the higher note fades in on top of it, basically. All right, that should be it, I think. Just gonna double check this section, and then if it sounds good, we can call it good. It's an octave low. Am I missing something here? Oh wait, I know what I was missing. There we go. Well, that and it's already like that and it's already much lower volume than it really should be. Oh wait, oh it's because of that. It's because of this little volume decrementation that I copied over from channel 3. Silly me. There we go. I don't know about you guys, but that sounded pretty good to me. I think I'm good there. Well, I guess now I can try making one from scratch, perhaps. instead of just continuing where I left off with the previous one. I think I'll probably try that Eastern Garden theme then. So that one is located over... Wait, no, not here. It is here. Oh, hold on. Well, thank you very much, Amon. You know, honestly, like... Actually, I was thinking about this earlier today, about a thing I want to mention about, like, covering a song in this sort of style, where, like, I'm adhering to, like, the limitations of, like, a pre-existing project. If I had free reign, I'd probably go for, like, much different types of FM patches than this. You know me, I like to use a lot of stuff from, PC 98 games, especially. So I feel like I kind of have to, like, step out of my comfort zone a little bit with these patches, and maybe, like, use some in a way that I'm normally not used to using. But, you know, like, I think it's a good exercise for, like, somebody who's, like, doing chiptune stuff to, like, try doing something in the style of someone else. Gives you an appreciation for what, you know, the composers of the day had to work with, you know? Not everybody's necessarily a Toshiharu Yamanishi. But, you know, even if they're not Toshiharu Yamanishi, they're still very talented. Wait, did that? Oh, wait, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I found a good arrangement for Eastern Garden. I might as well play what I've got in Furnace Tracker, because for the most part, I don't think it's going to sound massively different in MML to VGM. But yeah, this is what I got for this. Yeah, seems good to me. So, yeah. Should be fairly easy, I think. Oh, I didn't actually look up the values for the slap bass, so that's just like on full blast for this entire, okay, the bass is gonna be softer. That's one noticeable difference. Might do that first, actually, just to get it out of the way, because it's gonna be the most headache inducing, I can tell you that for certain. Yeah, I think it looks like, so yeah, it's kind of got, like, just the same rhythm throughout the entire song, basically. I guess I might as well go for just whichever one... I might as well make the default length just whichever one is shorter. So it's gonna be 12 times 3, that's 36. I got hair on my arm. It's one of the difficulties with having long hair is it just keeps, like, appearing all over your body. At least that's a problem for me anyway. I don't know about other people. Maybe I just don't have a good hair care routine. Yeah, set that to the default. And then yeah, gotta set the operator volumes. So it's... And yeah, that one's like an octave down as well. So here, I might actually be able to check. I think that's the same note that's in the beginning of this one. Yeah, okay, so if I just copy those values, I'm basically good. Oh, hold on. Okay, so yeah, basically just what's written here is what I write in the MML program now. So we got 26, 36, 19. And then, yeah, we got 3 times 64. 192. Actually, you know what I just realized? So, like, by default, MML to VGM always sorts, by default, MML to VGM always, like, has 192 ticks be a whole note. But, like, if 192 ticks is, like, a whole pattern length, like, I don't even need to set, like, tick rates for this. I can literally just use friggin', regular note values for this, so I can make music like a normal person this time. Well, kind of, sort of. Like, everything's going to be kind of like half the length of what it probably should be, but oh well. Okay, so yeah, there's all the notes. Now I just gotta do the friggin' pitches. So I think for that one, I'll just go back to the lookup table here. So, yeah, this is one of those cases where it gets a little bit more complicated. The slap bass patch is this one right here. And it has different scaling values for each operator, so I gotta keep that in mind. So it's 5 for operators 1 and 3, and 4 for operator 2. So that's basically just corresponds to these rows right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So considering that, like, here, if this one already has, like, the default values loaded into it, but, like, at that note, it basically just has 1 subtracted from each TL. It basically has a value of 1 subtracted from the TL of each operator. So that we can conclude it's probably right here, C2. So I need to go up to C3 to find the next one. Okay. I guess the good thing about them being desynced is that I don't have to change all 3 at the same time like I do for some of these other ones. Actually, I can probably simplify this even further, to be honest. But, you know, I'll show that in a little bit here. So we start at we start at 25 and then 25 and 18 for operators 1 and 3. We'd go on 5, and then at the note that we're at, we'd subtract 3. So it'd be, well, I guess in our case, it'd be adding 3 because, like, technically speaking, 0 is, like, the maximum and 127 is the minimum. Programming is so funny like that. So it'd be 28 for that, and then 21 for this. And then for this one, it'd be only subtracting 2, so we get 38. And then, yeah, when we go down to B flat or A sharp, operators 1 and 3 change, but operator 2 doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and set that before this whole loop happens, and even like on the ending note of the sequence, G2, it still like remains at that same level. Basically, in this whole upper range, we just have the same note, except for when it dips down to F sharp. So I'll just like, that should go here, as it turns out, because like once it loops back from G, then it will like. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. It doesn't need to change. So yeah, that stays as is. I guess I might as well put that over here just because. Okay. So yeah, should be good like that, I think. I can play it right now. Can't I? Oh wait, do I have that muted? Wait, I know why it's not working. I didn't set it. I didn't set the instrument. Slap bass 1. I get so carried away doing the exciting stuff that I don't even remember to do the basic stuff first. Wait, okay, these are actually supposed to be 16th notes. My bad. Cool. All right. Okay, then if I just set this up to loop throughout the entire song, I'll have the percussion down pat. There's 9 times 2 is 18. I need 18 loops of this. That's too high. Maybe 1 octave lower? Or wait. Let's see, if I remember correctly, that is what it was set to. Yeah, BE is here. This is where the programmer mode of the calculator comes in very handy. Yeah, 190. That's what that's supposed to be. Okay, then. Yeah, it doesn't quite sound the same as it doesn't really sound the same as it did in Furnace Tracker, but I'm sure it'll sound fine once it's in the context of all the other instruments playing at the same time and stuff. And then, oh yeah, I need to set the Q value of all of these. Okay. I guess I should also set up the loop at the beginning, but yeah. Okay, so dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. And that's basically all of that done now. That was easy. Or not. Actually, maybe I'll make that a little bit quieter, because I noticed it was a little bit loud in the furnace version, and then I'll set it back to full volume for the actual melody. And piano 2 is this one up here. I think those are both set to full volume in the furnace version. I guess I didn't define it for this one, but it's basically supposed to be full volume by default, so close enough, close enough. Okay, so repeat that 16 times. It's also thankfully in such a place that I don't need to change any of these values as it's playing. Because if we go back to, I'd made sure to pre-calculate this like as much as possible when I was making these in Furnace, but yeah. They all have like the maximum pitch scaling value, but thankfully like there's some areas where there's like a few chromatic notes where they don't scale. So that's really handy. I don't think there's no transposition on that one either. No, okay. So it's G4. I'm gonna double check just to be safe, but yeah, there's no extra meddling that needs to be done there. So I just set it to what's in the song file, where it's 30. Oh, 21 is 33. And then 27 is 39, I'm pretty sure. Oh boy, okay. Now this actually might end up being the most headache-inducing part, because this one's playing a melody that goes up quite a ways from like its original note. So I'm going to need to change this with practically nearly every new note. Wish me luck. Dun, 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 dun. See, it's 20, 24, 29, 24, 20, 20. Okay, I can keep that the same at least. That's good. That's some space I can save. Thanks for the good luck, Kurzel. I'm gonna need it. I'm sorry that you guys have to look at me doing this, like, just in half. Actually, I should really, like... Oh, whoops. I don't want to do that. I still have no idea what those flags are for. Like, like, all of this stuff. Actually, Aman, if you're still here, yeah, like, have you ever used these? Like, I think they're supposed to be, like, breakpoints or something, but, like, I don't honestly know what they do because I've never used them. And, like, I tried to make sense of them with, like, the manual for MML to VGM, but, like, I can't really find any info about them. Okay, these all go up by 1. And then up by 1 more. Yeah, okay. One of these days we'll find out. Because, like, especially because there's so many of them. Like, I think this is usually, like, a breakout point, a break point, like I would see in, like, Visual Studio or something. But then, like, the folder, the warning sign, the red circle, the hollow red circle, the orange arrow. I don't know what any of those do. If I were maybe more acquainted with IDEs for, like, actual programming, maybe those would mean something to me, but, like, yeah, still very much a novice over here. My best language is one that nobody uses anymore, so that should tell you a lot. Okay, I believe these all go down by 1. Wait, hold on, that doesn't seem right. I didn't... 20... 21. Why did I increment it again? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I just straight up did that one wrong. So it's actually, yeah, just 1 below. That's about what I thought. I don't know, I must have, like... I have no idea why I did that, to be honest. Like, I must have just, like... copy-pasted it and then forgot to change it later. Apparently those are all the same. I'm gonna double check that one because now I don't trust what I wrote earlier. Okay, it's correct. I got it right. I got it right this time. Okay, I guess for that one, thankfully, it doesn't change. Yeah, now I gotta get all this in here, and it's a whole new set of values that I have to rewrite because it's an octave up. And I decided that would be cool, like a masochist or something. So let's see what we got here. Or I guess, okay, I can start with this, basically. Wait, what? Hold on, wait, that doesn't match. Did I not actually do that one right either? So it's 15 above the root. Or I guess 21 above the root, but you know what I mean. Which, here, I should actually pull that up so that I have that for easy reference. Right here. So 18 plus 21 is 39. Which is not what that is, I don't think. Oh my god, I'm confusing myself so frickin' hard now. Here, I'm gonna mute this so I can hear the piano better. Oh, whoops. Okay. I might have used like an incorrect table or something to build the first one, because somehow what I'm writing here doesn't seem correct. Let's see here. G4 is where like the starting note of the sequence is, so it's got to be. Okay. Okay, so G is starting at 21. Oh wait, no, it's 11 above. Or wait, no, 17. It's 17 above the root, which is 35 for like this high G up here. Or wait, no, I'm still not like getting it right though. Yeah, no, it's 15 above the root, hex 15, which is 21, like I said earlier. Oh my god, I'm confusing the hell out of myself. What am I doing? So, okay, it's... So yeah, with this... Yeah, the base TL level is 18, and then 22, and then 27. So it's a gap of 4, and then 5. A range of 9. I hope this is enthralling for you guys. Because I'm low-key learning. I might not be as good at math as I thought. Okay, so we start at hex 11 above the base level. That's 17. 18 plus 17 is 35? Then where did 30 come from in all of this? Like, where did I get that number from? Like, I honestly have no idea where I got that number from. I think it might have to do with... Okay, actually, you know what? Might possibly have something to do with this up here, because Forgotten Worlds actually uses that piano patch, whereas it's actually unused in Strider. Like, there's a whole bunch of patches in here that aren't even used in any of the songs in the game, but they still exist in the ROM file, because I presume a lot of these patches were just copied over from the previous Capcom games that Tamayo Kawamoto worked on. But yeah, like, that's... Yeah, whatever I've got here is just straight up not correct. Like, I don't... Ah, man... Okay, I'm gonna have to edit these then. I gotta start from square one. Sorry, guys. Okay, so go up one more, and then down 3. Man, it's at times like this where I really wish I was just able to write in Capcom's own driver. That would make this so much more convenient. Okay, then 4 above that. Or no, 2 above that. So we got 43 and 39. Okay. This should be good, I think. Yeah, this seems about right. Honestly, yeah, like these levels that I've set it to now are honestly probably even better sounding than what I had before. Okay, I actually don't change from F to E flat. Excuse me, oh my gosh. Okay, that's that one fixed now. Okay. So yeah, these ones still need to be fixed, but I'm not going to recompile this until I get all of this filled in, because if you leave this blank, all of the operator levels will go up to the maximum, and that's going to blow your ears out. So gonna make sure these are all filled in before I press play again. Okay, this should be good. This should be good. Yeah, there we go. That sounds like a good piano. All right. Now, I got to do the other piano part. Yeah, there's a whole other one right down here that I've been putting off until now. And I'm gonna go ahead and just recalculate that one from scratch, because I can't trust that I wrote down the right values last time. So it should be just C4, yeah. Just right here. 14 and 15 are the values. Okay. Okay, and then as I had it in the song, I decreased the volume of that lower piano by 4 so that it doesn't like overpower the main melody. Oh boy, this one's gonna be a long one. Oh, actually, wait. I have a better idea. Okay, if I just shift the loop back a little bit, then aha, I can put more in less. All right, I still gotta have like one of these in here. Is that right? Here, actually, you know what? I'm gonna double check with the original song. I'm gonna have to get the channel mask pulled up for this one. I think it might have been the second square wave, maybe. Okay, chiptune players. There we go. Okay. Sorry, it never starts in the right folder. I don't know why. Yeah, that's about what I thought. Okay, I'll have that pulled up for reference for the future. Huh? Did I accidentally put a breakpoint outside of a loop? Oh, back here. Oh, wait. Okay, that's why. I was putting that there for later because this whole section is going to repeat before it loops. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that yet. Wait, huh? Wait, did I screw something up here? I must have. Okay. I apparently... Okay. Alright, but that's fixed now, so it's fine. Okay, that should be good, I think. Man, this is looking like a real mess now. Oh boy. Alright, well, let's see. Okay. So yeah, that's all correct now. I just gotta make it all loop one more time. Okay, now I just gotta add one last channel, which is gonna be incredibly simple here. All right, just copy paste that here basically. Okay, that should do it, I think. Wait, here, hold on, gotta get the trace play. I'm getting this weird sound effect when the loop happens, but I think I know what's causing that, actually. I think it might be that, like... I think it might be that this piano is, like, resetting to its default TL values when it gets back to the beginning because of this instrument definition right here. So if I just set that to be quieter from the start, I think I'll probably, be good. Maybe I actually won't make it quieter. Yeah, it's not exactly overpowering the melody right now. I think it should be fine. Yeah, I guess just to double check one more time and make sure that I didn't screw up something else. Like, I know I was like kind of doing some stuff with the I know I was doing some stuff with the piano not too long ago, so maybe there's a possibility. Yeah, it seems perfectly balanced to me, but I just want to make sure I'm getting this absolutely right. So I'm going to double check my calculations for the TL levels of the piano really quick. So 18, 22, 27 is what I have this set at right now. So what I should do really quick is just set these all to 16, and then I'll do the maths that I mentioned earlier. So, okay, minus 14. Minus 18. And then minus 23. And then those all get boosted by 12. Yeah, my calculations were right on the money, yeah. I don't know... I don't really know what I was thinking with regards to... Actually, you know, I think it was before I'd fully figured out how the velocity scaling worked. And, like, I heard the example from Forgotten Worlds that actually had, like, a lower velocity, because, like, I think Tamayo Kawamoto took a lot more advantage of that than Junko Tamiya did, but, like, but yeah, I must have gotten them confused and been like, oh, like, this should actually be, like, the default scaling of it, but, like, it's mismatched, so it just caused, like, it caused the piano within, like, the furnace version to sound wrong. I do not know why I thought that, but at least it's fixed now. And it's fixed for ultimately the definitive version. Alright, and then I'll worry about removing all of the extra aliases here like later. That's for much later. But yeah, actually here, I know another one that will be relatively simple to do because it's basically just like one single phrase repeated over and over again. The caverns right down here. I might actually want to come back and change the instrumentation on this one later, but at least right now, this is how this sounds. Yeah, that's basically the whole song. I couldn't really think of another way to arrange it because the version in the NES version is like incredibly minimal. Here, let me see if I can find it in here. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's something about the very, like... There's something about the way that this melody just creeps up on you that really got under my skin when I heard it for the first time. And, like, I guess this is me trying to recapture that, but I don't know if I can. Like, I guess that's kind of one of the weaknesses of having, like, more channels to play around with, is that, like, it just kind of... It feels like it necessitates a bigger arrangement when I think, like, a part of the reason that the original works so well is specifically because there's just not much to it, you know? Nevertheless, I will still try, and I will still do it like this just because I can. And I feel like it's also... I feel like there's a decent chance that Junko Tamiya probably would have done this if given the chance to, so yeah, why not? Ah, damn it, I saved all of the... I saved all of the garden notes in the template file. That's not what I meant to do. But it's fine, I'll just delete all this, resave the template, and I'll be good. Oh yeah, I need to have that set as well. I need to save the Q value as a default. Alright, yeah, let's try this one. Excuse me. Actually, I'm gonna set this one first. Alright. See, I don't have to do any TL scaling for this particular patch, so that's good. Okay, I guess now the question is, okay, so 32 times 12 is... Oh, wait, no. 32 divided by 12 is... Wait. No, that doesn't really do it either. Okay, well, I guess it's more than a half note? Okay, wait, no, it's 1, 2, 3. It's a dotted half note, so a dotted... Wait, no, it's a dotted quarter note, because if each of these is a 32nd note, then 4 of them make an 8th note, and 3 8th notes is a dotted quarter note. So 2 of those is a dotted half note. Okay. Okay, so that's 60 ticks right there. Then we got, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. See, I didn't reset the speed at this point, so we're at 35 plus 2 is 40. That's 60 plus 60 plus 40 is 160. Yeah, no, there's no dividing that evenly. Oh well, that's fine. This will be easy. Oh wait, what? I put both a sharp and a flat in there. I'm so bad. There we go. Okay. So yeah, now I actually got to split these off. Or actually, here, hold on. I'll put it back together, but I'm gonna check to see what the difference is in the length. 9. Okay. So that one gets a rest of 160 ticks. This one gets a rest of 151 ticks, and they should even out. Wait, what? Oh. There we go, that's better. Also, yeah, it says pizzicato up here, but marimba down here. I didn't bother making them consistent, sorry. I'm kind of deciding, I'm having trouble deciding on whether or not I want to go for, like, this octave or the one below, because that's how I have it written in here, I think. Oh, actually, I don't even have the, And then, yeah, I should be able to, like, copy this directly into channel 6 for the crystal, but I would have to add all of the, I need to add all the TL changes, of course. So let's see, 27. I know for a fact I got the calculations right on this one. It's not like the piano situation, thank God. So it's going to be 39 to start off with. See, I'm basically just going to be able to copy paste this into the other two, thank God. I only have to do it once and then it's over. Or at least for this instrument it is. I've still got the piano and the slap bass later to worry about. Why do I do this to myself? Okay. Yeah, that should be good. Somehow that... I see what the problem here is. Okay. When the neighbors aggro. Oh, man. What was that thing I was saying yesterday about all my followers being funny and cool? Thanks for joining the stream, Joshua Vert. Okay, so yeah, that's why it didn't sound the same in here, is because I screwed up which operator I was applying the scaling to. I just had two of them going to the same operator, and I don't know why I did that. I must have been sleep deprived when I was working on this. I know for a fact that for some of these I stayed up in the wee hours of the morning working on them. Here, let me check. Still sounds a little bit different. I'm not really sure why. Actually, you know what? Just to be on the safe side, I am actually going to double check my work with the crystal TL scaling. I probably got that wrong. It's G sharp 2. So that's 8 above its default value, which would be 33. That's 40. That would be 41. But meanwhile, I have it set to 39 in here. Did I screw this up again? What was I looking at last time? Wait, okay, hold on. Duh. Here, I'm willing to bet there's probably some note in here that I can cross-reference, just to be sure. Okay, if that's... Okay, I should really make sure I'm constantly cross-referencing this list right here, because I don't know what I was looking at before, but whether it's like this calculated one or the one that I like reverse engineered from like the game, it seems like what I just wrote in MML to VGM and like in my version of the cover and furnace tracker doesn't match either of them. Like, what the heck? How did I get this so bungled? Yeah, that's only 6 above. It's supposed to be 8 above. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna have to like bump these all up by 2, maybe? I don't even need to change between those two. No, 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 no. 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 Hmm. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Hmm. Man. Alright, sorry you had to see me doing that twice in a row. This should be more accurate now. Okay, now I just gotta get the, oh god, this one's gonna be even longer. Now I gotta do the piano. Okay, let's see here. 19, 21, 18. It's a pretty narrow range of values here, so I can't possibly screw these up, right? There's no transposition on that piano, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just the bass note, basically. So, with that in mind, actually, should I, like, lower this by an octave? Actually, yeah, I think I'll do that. I think that actually might, because, like, it sounds a little bit toothless when it's up here in this register. But then when you bring it down, there's, like, a low grumbling underneath the entire thing, and I think that would really add to it in a way. Plus, it'll be, like, near full intensity at that register as well, so it'll be interesting to actually take advantage of. So, okay. Do 3 above the bass. So it's gonna be excuse me. So it's gonna be 22, 20. Wait. Yeah, 22, 24, 21. Okay. 22, 24, 21. And these are basically all of the values that it's going to hit over the course of this whole sequence. So let's see. Oh, okay, whoops. There we go. Okay. No funny business going on with the operators either, so let's see. Oh, whoops. I didn't set that to the right instrument. Interesting. I should put those here just to make sure that they're even in length with the other channels. I think I'll actually have it like start out like slightly softer, and then for the faster portion I'll have it get louder. Honestly, this might end up being one of the biggest like files in here just by sheer virtue of the number of TL changes that are required. Oh man, I just hope it's not going to be too bad for the last couple instruments. Alright, well yeah, one of them doesn't have any, thank goodness. Indeed, it is quite ominous. Like I said, first time I heard this song on like in the original Famicom version, it got under my skin in a way that I would never expect a Famicom song to ever do to me. Junko Tamiya is just an underappreciated genius. It's a shame that her career with Falcom was relatively short. Well, I mean, like, she worked with him for like 4 years. That's like as long. That's like about as long as most of the Falcom's, the first generation Falcom sound team were working there. To be fair, like Kaneda was working there for, or Naoki Kaneda was working there for about 4 years. Tsunashima was on the sound team for about 4 years. Arai was also on the sound team for about 4 years. Hirokazu Matsumura was also on the sound team for about 4 years. Yeah, it seems like a 4-year tenure seems to be the sweet spot for a lot of Falcom composers, and I guess it's, you know, just like Tamiya, she was also there. She was also with Capcom for about 4 years, but then she just kind of didn't do anything after that. But I know she's been seen since she left Capcom because she was at like a Bit Summit event in 2014. But I wonder how she's doing now. Hope she's doing well for herself. Anyways, yeah, I should stop yapping and actually get this thing in here. So, slap bass 1. Might even like... I wonder actually if I could like get it down even lower. Okay, that's actually kind of interesting. Hold on, let me try that. Let me hear how that sounds in the context of like everything else and stuff. So yeah, this is the furnace version. It's not going to sound exactly like this when I'm done, but just to get an idea. Actually, should I? So yeah, now it's starting to sound a lot more atonal when I like drop it down that low. Yeah, honestly, I think this is sounding even better. Like when I do this, like it's starting to get a little bit more of that feeling that I got from the original in a way. Because yeah, like now those bass instruments are no longer sounding like bass instruments. They're sounding like percussive almost. Which, I mean, like, that's kind of something that, like, a lot of these, like, CPS games do as well. You can actually hear it in a couple of... Hold on. I'm going to play an example here. But, like, the bass in, like, the bass in M. Bison stage of Street Fighter 2 is, like, so low that it's almost a percussion instrument and doesn't even really register... You can't even really register what note it actually is for the most part. Isolate it so you can hear it better. But yeah, I mean, at that point, it gets up into a range where it's more perceptible. But yeah, I think this... Yeah. I mean, I think it... You could make the argument that I'm basically just, like, loading this version of the song up with brown notes right now. But, you know, I think it works. I think it really does work. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. This could really work. I think I'm definitely gonna need to... Definitely gonna need to rethink how I'm doing all this though. So I think it's like, yeah. So yeah, this bass instrument is transposed down by an octave in the instrument patch data. So like it's basically the exact same octave as this. So I'm just gonna be looking at the same range basically, but you know, for this part over here instead. So yeah, I shouldn't need... Okay, well, I guess it's going to be going up and down a lot, so I guess I am going to be using a lot of changes, but not nearly as many. Not like 3 all at once for the piano. Actually, I'm realizing that basically all of these have, like... All of these have the exact same note length, so I should really just move that up here. Instead of, like, defining it over and over again for every single channel. Also, wow, I just noticed there's a lot of new viewers coming in. Hello, guys. Sorry for calling you out. I don't mean to trigger your social anxiety. I know some people struggle with that, but just know we're in a very chill place here today. Even if I'm making scary music. So yeah, first of all, what I need to do... Okay, so... R2... Okay, so yeah, first of all, both of these channels just have, like, silence in the beginning. They don't play at all. And then I get, I guess, yeah, this would be octave 3. I think maybe this would probably also be octave 3, unless that doesn't get transposed after all. No, it does, It's the same octave, so... Listen, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check. Yes, it is, okay. Okay. And then, yeah, this will be trying to go above 127 in volume, but it can't, so it'll basically just stop right there. And I don't even really need to bother, like, breaking out of the loop to stop that from happening, basically. At least I don't think I do, anyway. I don't think it's gonna get louder than that, because I've got the, because the TL level on the instrument is at 12, basically, just by virtue of how the Capcom patch data works. I just realized I can close that other file. I don't need that. Yeah, now I just gotta... Or actually, I just realized as well I can probably put this, like, before the loop even starts. You know, just like I did with the last song with the slap bass. Yeah, anyways, not gonna rely on that no more. Boo. Okay, so that one's got operators 1 and 3 incremented. No, I need to check the default values again. I can never remember them off the top of my head. I mean, if I could, that would be incredible, but it'd also be probably a sign of psychosis. Oh, actually, those should go here because they're gonna get reset. Yeah, that would make the most sense, I think. Actually, I just realized I can set all of them back to normal by just like, because yeah, below this point, yeah, below G1, like all of the operators are just going to be at their default values. So if I just set it to slap base 1, they'll just go to their default values. That'll certainly save me a few characters. I guess this is the only instance in which I would need to define every single one of them anyway, so kind of works out. So I think that's it now. I think so anyway. Let me check. Oh wait, whoops, I forgot to set the other 2 loops for that one. That was my bad. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Actually, here, I'll just lower that by 4, and then, like... See, it's kind of hard to hear the first time around. Very interesting. I think I will actually probably lower the crystal volume by a little bit, because I feel like that's a little bit too high. Maybe lower the pizzicato volume by a little bit too. Or no. I think I'll lower it for this part just to keep it from getting too cluttered. But yeah, in the first part it's going to be the most prominent, and then it'll step back to let the bass come in. Man, okay. That took a lot. That took a lot of fiddling, but I got it. I definitely got it. Okay, so yeah, all of those stay. The marimba. The crystal. I think that's basically everything that I used in this, so I can just get rid of all the rest of the aliases here, and bada bing, bada boom, we got a final file size of 3 kilobytes. It's one of the shortest songs in the game, and it still, like, is one of the bigger, like, project files I have in here just by virtue of how much of frickin' this I have going on. Oh, man. But yeah, also, man, I just realized I've been going on for like 3 hours. I think I might actually call it here. It's a bit unfortunate I couldn't really get my... bit unfortunate I couldn't get like the ideas flowing and to get the to get work done on the commission, but I think I'll probably just like dedicate some time to that this weekend, get some more progress done, because it's been a little bit, and I'm sorry to Doppel for that one. It's just a busy week. Beginning of the year always comes with a lot of new stuff that you have to take care of, and sometimes it gets in the way of work, but I'm gonna try not to let it get too much in the way. But yeah, me thinks I'm good to head out now. I hope the rest of y'all have a great night as well. And yeah, next Wednesday there will of course be more trailers in the sky. Next week, Thursday, I'm gonna be a little bit late. I made a community post about this, but yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit late getting back because I do still have to work on that day, and I couldn't get off early enough to make the usual time. I'll try to make sure that no more scheduling conflicts happen in the future, but you know, with work being how it is, sometimes I just have to like do whatever the frick they want with me. But either